If you've ever thought, why do people walk all over me when I'm just trying to be kind? Then this is for you. But let me be clear, you're not weak for being kind. I want to let you know that. However, when kindness becomes a compulsion, a way to earn love, a way to avoid conflict or feel safe, then yes, it turns into a liability. Now, in dark psychology, niceness is seen as a signal. It's a tell. It's a code word for, I won't push back. Here's how it works. Firstly, people pleasing exposes your lack of boundaries. Because the moment that you start anticipating other people's needs before your own, you're essentially signaling that you will abandon yourself to keep the peace. Now, where does this stem from? You have obviously learned this as a survival mechanism. You want to keep the peace, you want to avoid the conflict, you want to avoid the drama. So therefore, you're very highly attuned to what other people are thinking, saying, feeling, the energy in the room. And you can read that like, it's almost like magic. I understand that because I am very good at doing this. I can read the room. I know how people are feeling. This is programmed into me, and it's not intuition. It is a survival mechanism, because you need to be able to read the room in order to avoid conflict. Okay, I have learned this just through experience in life. But the problem is, okay, it's great on the one hand because you are able to usually diffuse situations by playing everything down, knowing when to stop, knowing when to be quiet, knowing when to leave a room. However, this is a big problem because you are being very inauthentic within yourself. And I'm here to say that if you have done this your whole life and suddenly you've decided this isn't happening anymore, when you start to actually share how you feel, when you actually begin to be authentic, as in not just keeping the peace anymore, not just appeasing people, not just letting them go ahead and doing whatever they want and running amok in your life, and pushing you, when you actually start, and it's crazy how this happens, and people can do this from what they think is a real place of kindness and love and all the rest of it, but when you actually start to say, no, listen, this isn't working anymore, it can be a huge problem. Okay, and this is why we avoid it. But manipulators, they can read this instantly. So they really understand how to test your limits. And if you don't hold them, they'll control you. And not only that, if you don't continue to appease them, if you don't continue to people please, if you don't continue to be your old self, the self that was like, oh, it's okay, it's fine, you can get away with this, you can do it, and it's all right because I love you. No, when you start to wise up, waken up and realize that this isn't serving them or you, then that's when the control can kick in. And that's when, the not so nice side of people starts to show up. And this can obviously manifest in many different ways. It can come out in many different ways. But one of the main ways it comes out is control from the other party. But also it can come out in being very argumentative. It can come out in drama with women. Let me know in the comments if you feel that. People seem to be watching all of these dramatic programs and series on Netflix, and they start to act this out in their own lives, feeling like this is how, honestly, it's quite tiring. You see that people almost want to have their little dramatic episode of their own. I don't know if that's something that plays out in people's lives these days in like pop culture in real life, but that seems to be the way that people are. All the phrases they use, you can tell they've been sitting watching these programs, and it's now coming out in their own lives. They're having this bit of drama. But people pleasing does expose a lack of boundaries. So when you decide that's not happening anymore, it can get ugly. But I want you to know that when you're people pleasing, when you're smiling, when you're fawning all over everybody, it essentially shows the person that they can do what they want. You're going to back down. And if you've got a history of that, that can be very, very difficult for you to change. But what I want to move on to next, because I have 2 further points that I haven't even written down yet for you. But the second one was the fact that empathetic generosity, it really becomes currency in the wrong hands. So if you're the nice girl who always forgives, always explains, always gives just one more chance, you're basically becoming very easy to use. People can see it from a mile away. People know that you're the sweet, nice person they can walk all over, and they will just keep pushing and pushing, knowing that you're always going to be there to help them, to pick up the pieces, to be on the other end of the phone no matter what happens. And even sometimes, this isn't nice to say, but sometimes you will be used as the scapegoat. You will be used as the person who they can be mean to, they can perhaps, cause a drama with, and you will be the person, you will be the object of the conversation for them and for all their friends and for all the conversations moving forward to give people some interest in their lives. But the problem is that because you're such a genuine, caring, kind person, you help them. They'll take your help. They'll take your energy. They'll take your support. But they offer nothing in return. They think they're offering something in return. They might offer things in return like, you'll be... I don't know. Let me tell you what I've noticed in this situation many times over is that people think that by doing... It's almost like plays. It's like by doing this, I've bought you this, or here, I'm so kind, I thought of you, I did this. It's like almost like a strategic moves that people are making as a demonstration of how kind they are. These plays are used quite often in place of actual caring, actual consideration, actual, hi, how are you? Just checking in to see if you're okay. Hi, I'm here for you at these, challenging times in your life. I'm always here for you. And the thing that people, people don't seem to understand, they may say to you, these people who are ready to manipulate you, they will say, oh, you can always talk to me. I'm always here for you. But in the same breath, in the exact same conversation, they will divulge information about other people which really should never have been mentioned, which really should have been kept absolutely silent and should never have been said. So if you're a wise person, then what you're going to do with that is run a mile. You're not going to share and, saying that I am here for you is not the same as being there for someone, checking in. There is such a thing as a priority list, and you will know whose priority list that you're on, because those people, they have so much going on in their lives, they may be been through so much in their lives and various things, but they still continue to check in, to see how you are, to show that they care. These are people who have your back and are there for you. These are the people who, they never talk about others in front of you. They will never divulge personal information about other people. These are the people you can trust. But it's one thing saying, oh, I'm here for you, but it's a complete other thing to actually be there and know that someone will be there for you without going around and using all of the help as gossip. Okay, but the thing is, they understand you will be a support. You will never mention these things to anyone else because you have integrity. And that's something that's highly, highly valuable. And people are drawn to people like you who have integrity. Because, we are sovereign people. We have our own integrity, our values. And that's why we're able to hold so much ourselves. We're able to work through so much without the requirement of having other people. But, that really becomes currency in the wrong hands. They're just seeing you as some sort of a bank, and not necessarily in terms of financial assistance, but in terms of energy, care, meeting their particular needs. So the last point that I want to just share with you today is the fact that reclaiming your self-worth starts with non-negotiables. Now, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but it can be quite difficult. It can be really difficult, in fact, when you're someone who cares so much about others, to suddenly wake up and realize what's going on around about you. But I want you to hear this. No is a complete sentence. No. You don't need to appease people. You don't need to explain yourself to people. You don't need anything. Silence is a strategy. It's one to help you now preserve yourself. After all of the years of being manipulated, after all of the years of being taken for granted, being trampled all over, boundaries aren't rude. They're how high-value women stay powerful. If you've spent your whole life developing yourself, becoming a high-value woman, now it's time that you take your power and you use it wisely. Don't leak your strong, powerful energy everywhere and anywhere. That's why some people can feel your energy and take a dislike to it instantly, because you're strong, you're powerful, you're obviously beautiful inside and out. And that is why sometimes we do let our guard down and regret it later. Self-worth starts with you. You don't need to prove your goodness by shrinking. You don't need to explain your intuition away. You get to lead with grace and power. And one other thing you don't need to do, that I've done in my life and highly regret in certain situations, but I've learned a lot from this. You don't need to over-explain, overshare, or take part in any conversations that you don't feel that you're able to harness and retain your own power within. So sometimes a conversation was never meant to be a conversation. Sometimes the person was never ready to be part of that conversation. And you need to understand throughout your daily life, whether it be in work, whether it be in friendship groups, whether it be in any other situation, sometimes your silence is the most powerful thing that you can do for you, and sometimes that's just the way you're going to have to go, because not everybody is on your same level in terms of your wisdom, in terms of the frequency, in terms of the personal development, and you're essentially just, as they say, casting your pearls to swine. Don't do that. Don't leak your energy. Don't allow yourself to be less powerful. You are going to have to stay guarded, because your energy is so powerful that we're not wasting it, spoiling it. We're not leaking our valuable life force energy anymore. I just want to finish off today by reminding you that if you are ready to go from nice to respected, and you're finding that you want support to do that, the shift starts inside. I am going to put a link below for the Spark Activation. It is your personal roadmap to uncovering why you abandon your own needs, and show you exactly how to start showing up with clear boundaries, deep self-worth, and unshakable confidence. You can get the Spark Activation and find out all about that via the link below. But until next time, stay strong, stay powerful, retain that power, and understand that you need to start putting yourself first. And this is now over. You're not the nice girl who gets manipulated anymore. You are the sovereign, powerful woman who retains her power, who retains her value, and who continues to grow in silence. And you're going to meet the most incredible community of people who support you and who get that and who understand that. But it really does take you taking your power back first. I believe in you. I know you can do this. Once again, the Spark Activation link is below. I will see you in the next video.